If you miss this mark, if you don't know who you're speaking to, you will lose the game of podcasting, I promise. Identify who you're speaking with. Make sure you know what they're looking for, what they need, what situation they're in, what they're struggling with, and then you can solve their problem. That's the first thing. B is you should have a content calendar. If you have a content calendar, it will help you. When I had a meetup group and I was focusing on real estate with this lunch club, I met with all of my friends in the middle of the day at noon on Thursday. We ended up becoming one of the top 6 meetups in the entire world. The number 1 meetup in the whole state of Colorado. It's kind of remarkable. Now, I'm not that cool. I'm not that awesome. I'm not that smart. It wasn't about me necessarily. It was more about the way that we had a meetup. And some of those things that I'm going to be talking about with you today is the lessons that I learned from my meetup that is also helping me with the podcast. So I'm going to make these illustrations, and if you think that they aren't going to work, they do align, because many of my clients in the podcasting space have gotten a similar value where they're literally ranking your top 1%. One of those things that I did when I had my meetup is I decided to niche, like the avatar and niching down, and make sure you're speaking to that one person. Once you niche down and figure that out, you are going to need to find a way to constantly talk about that. So once you differentiate yourself and niche down and know who you're talking to, you need to put that out all the time. In the beginning of this episode, I said, hey, podcaster, because I know you're a podcaster or you're about to start a podcast. So I want to make sure I know who I'm speaking with. At the meetup, I used this niche and the content calendar a lot. Here's what I did with the content calendar. I put out, because we met every week, which is a lot for a meetup group. So we met every Thursday at noon. And what I would do with my content calendar is I would decide if I was ever going to speak, when I would speak, what I would talk about, what's my superpower, what I could pour into, what I'm passionate about. And I also thought about my avatar. What do they need to know? What do they want to learn? What would get them interested? And so I started creating what's called a content calendar, where I would select ahead of time. I always say you create it spiritually, and then it will manifest itself physically. This basically means you design it in your head and get clear on the vision of what you're doing, and then you'll have the ability to bring that to fruition where it comes to life.